All right, Khan Academy solving for a side. So we're going to be using the trig ratios SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, tangent. So let me just kind of refresh these up here. SOHCAHTOA. And then just remember that the sine is the opposite leg over the hypotenuse. The cosine is the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. And then the tangent is the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. So we need to make a decision on which ratio we're going to use. So ultimately we're trying to find the length of side AB. So the first thing I like to do is I like to stand on my reference angle. So notice they give me the 50 degrees. Now never stand on the 90. You're always going to not stand on the 90. In class I say don't stand on home plate. But for these two acute angles here, the 50 and the other one, I'm going to stand on the 50, and this is going to be what's called my reference angle. From that, I can label the three sides. So always across from the 90 degrees, that side is the hypotenuse, and that's what we're after. I'm going to call it X. And then the other side that they give me, across from the 50, that's opposite of me, that's the 6. So you'll notice the two sides that we have are hypotenuse and opposite. We need this side, we have this side. We're not interested in AC. We're not interested in what's going on over here on this side. So I don't even need to label that. That is the adjacent, but I don't need to label it because I have the two I need. So opposite and hypotenuse means we're going to use the sine ratio. So we're not going to use those two for this one. So here we go. The sine, when standing on 57 degrees, is the ratio of opposite over hypotenuse. So now we have sine of 50 degrees equals 6 over x. What I can do is I can put a 1 underneath here and set up a proportion and cross multiply. There's many ways to do it, but this is an easy way when you're first learning. So 6 times 1 is 6. X times sine of 50. X times sine of 50 degrees. Well, if I want to get x by itself, the opposite of times by the sine of 50 is to divide by the sine of 50. And divide by the sine of 50. And I'm going to punch that in my calculator. So I'm going to do 6. Let me just check my mode, make sure I'm in degrees. Yep. So I'll quit out of that. And I'm going to do 6 divided by the sine of 50 degrees equals 7.83. Then on Khan Academy, I'd have to see where they wanted me to round. The actual number is 7.83244, blah, 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 blah. It says round to the nearest hundredth. So that means I need to keep 2. And the third one right there tells me what to do. And since it's 4 or less, I stay the same and I keep it at 7.83. So when you're missing that hypotenuse, when your x is on the bottom here, it's really going to end up being a division problem. All right, let's try another one. So we go to this next one, and our x is right over here. So that's what we're looking for. I put my little guy on the reference angle. Across from the 90 is the hypotenuse. And this time, whoa, don't know what happened there. Let me shrink this back down. But this time, I don't have the opposite. All right, opposite is across from me. I don't need or I don't have that side. But I want the side right next to me. And the side right next to me is called the adjacent side. All right. Notice my leg is touching the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So for this one, I need to use ka. I need to use cosine because that stands for adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine, when standing on 40 degrees, is adjacent over hypotenuse. I put a 1 under there. I cross multiply. Well, now I get 1 times x is 1x, which is nice because now I don't have to do the second step. And then 4 times the cosine of 40, I'm going to punch in my calculator, 4 times the cosine of 40 degrees equals 3.8 0.064. And since I need to keep the nearest hundredth, I need to keep 2 places. That 4 tells me to leave it alone. Don't round it up. 5 or more, you round up. So, correct answer, 3.06. We'll do one more. So on this one, my reference angle is right here where the 70 is. The 2 sides I'm interested in, notice here's the 90. Across from the 90 is the hypotenuse, but there's nothing there, so I don't need to label hypotenuse. What I need to label is across from me, the opposite leg, and then the one I'm touching here, the adjacent leg. Well, this is going to be a job for tangent, TOA. Tan is opposite over adjacent. So the tangent, when standing on 70 degrees, is the opposite, it's my x, over adjacent. And again, I put a 1 under there, I cross multiply. X equals 3 times the tangent of 70. Bust out my calculator. 3 times tan 70. Bam. So 8.242. When rounding, that 2 says leave it alone. Leave it. 8.24. So right there, those are the only 3 type of examples you're going to see in Khan Academy solving for a side in a right triangle.